Hello, and welcome back to the Siofra River. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. So last time I started up the quest with Ranni, having a good time, and now it's time to explore this area. I will ignore... I still haven't looked into that. I haven't really had time. But today I'm going to be initially focusing more on the ancient beast boss as opposed to talking with the wolfman. But it shouldn't take too long. It's reasonably quick since I have a general idea of where I need to go, which is basically just I need to explore everything. And if I do it while riding a horse, it's pretty quick. Yeah, so I'll be doing that. It's going to be a lot of just running around for a while, though. It's very pretty. I really like the areas in this game. It's really good. I think area design-wise, compared to the 3 Dark Souls games, I think Elden Ring is better by far. It's possible Bloodborne's better because it has a better, it has a whole eldritch tone to it that a lot of areas seem to match with, and it's kind of cool that way. Whereas this is mostly just fantasy, which, everything's been done a million times, so it's not necessarily bad that it's fantasy, but it's still an interesting area. Oh, I should actually grab that. But today, will just be a lot of running. What is with this guy? It's like madness? Maybe? Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of running around. Weird. But... Oops. Oops, I didn't kill him in one hit. Yeah, since last time, thinking about various things, I've seen a lot of stuff that have reminded me of other topics. I haven't rewatched Mary Poppins since I was a young kid. The concept of the suffragette movement. Didn't understand it as a, I don't know, 6-year-old. It's a bit complicated of a concept. So the fact that, oh, I should probably interact with that, Grace. But so the fact that the mother in Mary Poppins was very blatantly working towards women getting the ability to vote. It literally said that on a I want to say lanyard, but that's not the right word. The real word would be something. Oh, I can't remember what the real word is. I'm going to explore this very briefly because I think there's something at the end and that's about it. Sash. It's a sash that she wears that's clearly pushing for women to have the ability to vote. Which the deep concept of vote. Oh wait, this is not where I thought I was going. I thought I was going to the other direction. Whoops. I guess I'll fight this guy though. Okay, he really fell. Yeah, the types of things that you totally miss as a kid if you watch stuff that is not really aimed at the kids, probably. It could be aimed at kids in the 60s. That's entirely possible. But it's a much more complicated topic that is difficult to really understand as a super young child. At least for me. And that then got me thinking about how many books I read as a kid that definitely were not, kid-friendly. there is a weird series of books called The Dragon Riders of Pern. Within the first book, there's a whole thing about dragons mating and how the people who, like, people are bonded to dragons in the series. It's very weird, but there's a whole bond thing, and the dragons mate, and the people who are bonded to the dragons react to that. Which... I'm dead. I'm not dead. Shocking. This is what I wanted, though. This area here is what I wanted to explore. Because there's at least one item here. The fact this guy didn't get staggered at all is kind of weird to me. A somber 5. I don't think I need that. But yeah. The whole weirdness with regards to characters' relationships didn't really come to mind when those concepts weren't, you know, understandable. I enjoyed it. It was a fun series to read for, like, oh, there's dragons, but it's very weird. Right here? Wait, no. Here. Yeah, like the way you learn more about the world and then stuff that you've consumed as media, your perception of it changes. Like, when I was significantly younger, my mother and sister both watched Gilmore Girls, and since we only had one TV, it's like, okay, I have nothing to do, I'll watch it as well. It was fun as a kid, but then, like, I haven't watched it at all recently, but, like, my perception of it now is they're almost all pretty awful people. Like, they're not very pleasant people. Like, the main family are kind of insufferable in their own ways. Like, one of the two lead characters has an affair. Like, they get in trouble with it, people get angry at them. As a kid, that has a less clear, yeah, no, that's just really dumb to do that. But obviously even then it's like, yeah, that's a bad thing to do, don't do that. But, like, I don't know, most of the, I guess it's mostly the character of Rory is just kind of whereas both the mother and the grandmother are at least a little bit more understandable. Like, Lorelai is not perfect, but it seems to me to be much more of a nuanced elements that make her, that are negative about her, whereas Rory, there really doesn't seem to be much nuance with the stuff that makes her incredibly obnoxious. That's just my own personal stance. Just like relationships with people, the way she interacts with them, is just weird to me. Weird show. I would probably never watch it again because none of the characters, like, well, there's a couple fun characters, but they're mostly like side characters that are just broadly fun. Oh, this area. Oh, okay, I guess I'll explore this for a bit. This is a sidetrack, but... Oh wait, can I not explore this yet? Is it, am I thinking about the parallel where in the actual city of Nokron there's an area off to the side like this? Okay, good. Like, you go under a waterfall and you fight a bunch of stuff. That's good. Yeah, the perception of media changes a lot. I think as a kid I tried to read, like, kid as in, I think I must have been under 10. I tried to read, like, Isaac Asimov's, one of his books, or a collection of stories. I'm not actually sure. I can't remember. It made no sense. Because it was just... It's all about... Okay, wrong... I didn't input that. That was the most buffered attack I've ever seen. Generally, attacks are not buffered that much. Yeah, didn't understand the Isaac Asimov book. So I think I've read, like, the first part. And then since it made no sense, I didn't really continue reading. And, like, I read it. Even as I was reading it, I was kind of lost as to what was happening. Oh. Okay. Guess I should go get that item. That should be pretty easy. Yeah. There's plenty that changes. Like, I probably wouldn't be able to reread The Hunger Games, because I imagine... My assumption is the character of Katniss and all that would probably bother me a lot, just because... You know, let's get off the horse. Just because it's the way most, you know, YA seems to be written is very, I don't know, teen angst heavy, and I don't think I've ever really understood that in how it is generally written. It always felt either ignorable or just over the top. But not the target audience. So, makes sense. I mean, I didn't read those, except for... I read them when they came out as, you know, a kid. Did I even stop at that Grace? I did. I don't trust my memory. Even short-term, matter of seconds, I don't trust my own memory. So I'm glad I could check the map. What other fun things that I've been thinking about? It's just food. Very, you know, unpleasant seeming food. With the key recognition that most foods have a reason to exist. Not all of them, but most foods have like a lot of gross foods have or gross seeming foods have like a cultural reason they exist. Not all of them have good cultural reasons to exist, like ortolan buntings, which are, I think that's just a type of bird, but it's eaten in a specific way. Like ortolan buntings, they're caught in traps, and then when it is being prepared to be eaten, it is just submerged in, I think, a wine, which they drown, and then that's how they're marinated as well. Efficiency, but they drown them alive. Pretty awful. But they do this after they put them in a shaded area, dark room, basically, but it's like a cage probably, full of food to eat, so they gorge themselves. They apparently grow double their size in the process. Then they're smothered with wine. And then they're cooked and eaten whole. I don't think the bones are eaten, but like, even the people who would eat it traditionally in France, which would have been like the richest strata of the population, even they were aware that it was a messed up food to eat, because they would put towels over their heads when they ate it to hide themselves from God, supposedly. Which is just I don't know, maybe don't eat it. I can't imagine it's actually delicious. Or more delicious than an animal prepared in a less twisted manner. But then again, foie gras exists. Never eaten it, but that's all about fattening up geese, I believe. So maybe a bird that is like induced to gorge itself and then drowned in wine is delicious in a way that's different than other animals. But it's pretty weird. That's one that I'm like, the origin of that has no chance of being, I'm going to say, justifiable of what the food is. Whereas there are other foods that have definite reasons to exist that aren't rich socialites. Some I don't know, but like edible bird's nests, or like bird's nest soup. It probably tastes good. I don't understand it personally, but the reason that the bird's nests are edible is because it's made of saliva that has solidified, which is very off-putting. But like, it doesn't hurt anybody, so I don't even see an issue with it. I think it seems unpleasant, but like, if I was given the chance to try it, where no food would be wasted if I hated it, I would try it. Like, sort of any food that doesn't, well, I mean, actually, it seems texturally gross, so I probably wouldn't like it as my default assumption. But like, most foods that don't negatively impact something, I'd be willing to try. But that's a weird one. There's other weird ones too. Oh. Guess I'll talk to you later. I'm glad he didn't die. Can I talk to him? I actually really love the music they play. But other weird foods include, I do not know the pronunciation, but balut, B-A-L-U-T, is how it's written in English. Which is a dish in the Philippines, I believe. That is all about eggs that have partially grown, is how I would put it. I don't really know. I'm not confident on the specific terminology, but it's eggs that were fertilized and had time to, you know, grow as is natural. Which I would say that from a theoretical animal cruelty perspective, that's probably not that bad, because they aren't, at the point at which they're eaten, they're less aware of anything than, you know, chickens or cows. So from that perspective, I don't see anything wrong with it. I do, however, think the fact that it's basically eating a partially formed chick just seems incredibly gross to me. It could be delicious for all I know, for all I care. But it's like, oh, that's my first bow in the game. It's just kind of an unpleasant idea to think about, to eat with, like, they're at the point where they start to have beaks and stuff. It's just kind of off-putting. I don't know if there's a cultural significance to it though, so it is what it is. I can't imagine it has any, like, meaningful nutritional benefits, but maybe nutritional benefits that would make it worth doing that instead of consuming eggs that have not been fertilized. It's still just a weird idea. It's like, it's a lot of gross foods, but some of them have clear origins, like that make it clear why they exist. Like there's fermented shark in Iceland. I'm gonna take damage. I died. I hate fall damage in this game. I shouldn't have died there. But there's fermented shark in Iceland that is apparently absolutely vile to eat. But they still make it because it's traditional, and anything, basically anything that's fermented is like, presumably my understanding would be because it helps, like, it helps it last longer. Whether it's helping it last longer or it lasted longer and it's still edible, but it has become this fermented monstrosity, is probably a distinction that I cannot judge, but it's edible for a longer time than if it didn't ferment, so that's why that type of food exists for sure, even if it's gross and incredibly off-putting to eat. And I think I've heard of it from two different, one from a podcast, one from maybe Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations TV show, where I think they went to Iceland and ate some. And at least the podcast information source, like, I'm pretty sure they said that that they were told that even the people who live there don't actually eat it because it's gross. It's just a traditional food that they will eat for traditional reasons, but nobody eats it because they love it. There are probably people who do, because there's people that will eat anything. Like, there's always specific people that are like, oh yeah, I like this because I grew up eating it. I'm used to it and I like it. Like, I think from a certain perspective, a lot of food can be kind of viewed as gross. Like eggs, it's easy to see those being viewed as kind of gross. Just about any meat, I can understand it being viewed as gross. I was thinking of something more specific, like various condiments. I can understand them being viewed as at least kind of gross. Not like disgusting, just off-putting. It's all fun. Every food has its own origins. Like, for example, ketchup. I can get behind thinking ketchup is a terrible condiment. I still like it. Like, I grew up eating boiled hot dogs with basic buns and ketchup. So there's a certain... Okay, he just missed. There's a certain, like, factor of comfort that comes from food that you ate growing up, even if it's a little bit, in certain ways, kind of gross. Like, ketchup has a lot of sugar, so it's not really, like, the best condiment for many reasons. It's a very sweet condiment. So I can get behind disliking it. Or thinking that it is not a great condiment. I think caring that much is weird, but... like, personally, as long as it's not, like, absolutely unsafe, incredibly unhealthy, eat what you like. And honestly, trying new foods is great. Like, I would rank trying foods, even just basic different foods, trying foods is one of the best, like, top 3 entertainment. Alongside, like, ooh, okay, good aim on this guy. Alongside, like, reading and games, trying new food is probably one of the top 3, like, entertainment activities. Even just trying weird, like, very basic, very normal, kind of gross fast food, which I don't eat fast food that often, but just trying new stuff is always good. Of course, I would never in my life try balut, because texturally it seems vile. And texture is important. Like, I think part of the reason that I don't like tomatoes by themselves. It can work in salad, it can work on sandwiches. Tomatoes great in context, but a tomato straight by itself with nothing else, I cannot stand, and I think it's partially a texture issue. They'll attack me if I don't kill them. Are they chill? Yes, they are. For now. And so there's lots of foods that, like, there's a lot of food that I don't like. Well, it's not actually a lot of food I don't like, but there's plenty of foods that I dislike because of texture.
Ah, good to see you. Apologies, mate, but I don't have much to report. I can see bloody Nokron right above me, but I'm absolutely stumped. I've tried all the gateways, to no avail. Perhaps it's time to ask Celevis. I recall that spiteful little rat acting like he knew something. Let's give him a squeeze. Show him.
But I can't remember. Going by my memory, this is right where I get confused the 2 times that I've done this. And I'm not certain whether, like, what exactly happens. Like, is it talk to Celevis, he gives you the potion to poison Ranni with, and then you just don't use it? And he also mentions the festival, and then that brings you to fighting Radahn? Because I assume Radahn's the next part of this quest. Because Radahn's fairly early in the quest, earlier than I always felt it, what I expected it to be. Let's get off the horse. Get off the horse. I actually don't like being off the horse because then I can't double jump. But the horse is hard to control. It's less precise. Ooh, camera. I kind of wish the camera in this game was just a little bit better. But, it's not the end of the world. It rarely ruins your life, right? It's just a cliff. Yeah. The only other thing that I've been thinking about. Oh, actually, there's something else that's fun. How I don't know how common knowledge it is. I assume it's relatively common knowledge, but not like obscenely common. That the boxing term "Let's get ready to rumble" is copyrighted to a man named Michael Buffer, who I guess was the first person to, you know, use it. Which is, it's kind of an interesting idea because, at least from my perspective, that's like the most general boxing introduction. So presumably it's often used, and presumably for at least a while, I don't know if it still is, but it would have to be allowed and permitted and paid for to use it if it is copyrighted in the way other stuff is copyrighted. That's fun. That ubiquitous phases are and can be copyrighted in that sort of way. Which is more of, it's not really fun, it's more of a statement on, I guess, capitalism. But it is interesting from a disconnected point of view how common something can be when still being at least technically controlled by an individual. Yeah. I also weirdly think about how if I can talk about whatever. I have no real, I'm not like worried, but I'm broadly a minorly paranoid person. I'm like, okay, I could talk about who knows what, but there's certain things I'm like, if I mention 5 different things that are specific to where I live, someone, if for whatever reason there was someone, there wouldn't be, there's no reason, but if someone were like, I want to find where this person lives exactly, or where they lived in the past exactly, you could theoretically, if I mentioned 6 locations that are very specific to one town, it could be worked back from and just, oh, triangulate where they live because, oh, they only travel 15 kilometers to get anywhere. So you can get like a circle around a location being, oh, they have to be within this, within that, make a Venn diagram, and it's creepy. Mostly just the internet can be creepy because there's a story around that I've seen around on the internet about how there was a, what's the word, like idol who was located by a stalker because of a reflection on their eyeball. Whether it's true or not, I've never looked into it because it's mostly just, it's believable in like a horrific way.
The task was left to you, and not only I.
But
Come, well, now's as good a time. There's a glintstone sorcerer by then. She owes me for the help I asked her to look. I'll write you a letter.
so yeah, that's her.
I've no time. The only thing I will hear
Bye.
from you is a report. Are we? And I have enough.
Okay, so now I need to go to her, who's over here somewhere. The Celibate potion thing, I can give it to Dung Eater in a specific context, but I want to do the quest line as fast as possible, and I can only do that if it's early enough, so.
Young apprentice, you are a tadpole when it comes. So, to become now.
Why would you do that? Why are you so mean?
Well, Celibus is not a name. But fine. The stars alter the fate of the Carian royal family, but long ago, General Radahn challenged this. Now he is the force that if General Radahn and so too.
So it is Radahn right away. So can I just go here right now and will it trigger the festival? Or will I have to go talk to Blythe again? Because it's not Blade, it's Blythe or something. Is it the festival? It is indeed. Wonderful. I can make one attempt today. I will do no summoning though, because I'm not very interested in summoning.
I must admit, I was a little worried.
I talked to you.
We missed our meeting, but it looks like you're still in one piece. You must have heard by now that Star-Scourge Radahn holds Ranni's fate in stasis.
How did you hear this?
Out of the way, it'll spring back into motion. So now, we stand against the way ahead is pleasingly simple.
Who's this? Who are you? I haven't talked to that person over in Caelid above the Celia Town of Sorcery. I haven't talked to her yet. I don't think this ruins any quests, but it might. Also, this is always where I find Alexander. I never find him before here. I think you're supposed to be able to find him before this, but I've never found him. Anyway, up I go and talk to the guy and then start the festival.
Are you good and the festival?
I am mostly going to skim through what I can. I'm not going to skip the cutscene if it is a cutscene,
Allow me to paint
because it's a good cutscene. I got distracted, though.
General Radahn is cursed ever to wander.
inside by Melania's scarlet rot. His wits are long gone. Now he gathers the corpses of former friends and foes alike, gorging on them like a dog. Howling at the sky. But now, we must make merry.
O gathering of champion, the celebration of war! The Radon Festival!
Anyway. Level 50 seems appropriate. I think I've done it at like level 80, and it was pretty easy. So 50 on the current version's probably a more appropriate level. It might be hard. I don't know. I've only done it a few times on the nerfed version. I might, if I want to try to do it in one go, I'll use one rune arc to give the first attempt the best chance it has, and then I won't use any more rune arcs. What's that second effect? Is it like the Vorpal thing? Second from like the top? I think there's like a Vorpal effect. I might be totally wrong though. There's a lot of effects that you don't really see in this game. Okay. I'm really not a fan of the run-up to this. Mostly because I'm not actually engaging with it for its intended method. Okay, that's actually good luck. Okay, it didn't hit the thing. For me, I didn't get the vertical arrow spam, which is in my opinion the most obnoxious part. That was a bad roll. Like the vertical arrow spam when you're riding up on a horse is really annoying. I'm gonna get hit. I didn't get hit because he's bad. I can't remember if his weapons are strength int. Like if they're int scaling or not. Okay, that's a weird hit. Whatever, let's just back away for a second. That's not the phase change. That's just a dangerous moment. Yeah. I missed the roll. I'm gonna lose, probably. These are really annoying. No, wait, no, it's not those. It's the later meteor versions, I guess. Okay, he looked like he was gonna smash there. Yep. Not a great attempt. He has a lot of HP. He is designed around the summoning stuff. I'll do attempts until it's 45, so it's gonna be one more attempt probably. Like, he's not terrible. He just has a lot of HP. And if a bleed procced, it would help a lot. I don't want to rely on bleed, but bleed is very strong. And I bet if I used the, whatchamacallit, I can't remember what it's called. The Black Flame Blade? Oh, no. This attack is the most obnoxious for me. Because it so frequently seems impossible to avoid getting hit at least once. terrible start. Really bad start. I mean, what would really help for sure is having a second weapon that also applies bleed, because then I could bleed him to death, but that's boring. I'm not a huge fan. And at some point here, I missed the roll. He didn't summon. He spins very well. He does a good job of spinning. Yeah. And I'm not particularly worried still. I still hate the run up to this boss. It's really not fun. It's meant to be part of the summoning minions, summoning summon signs and all that, so makes sense that it exists. It's probably to maybe disincentivize just spamming summons? Ugh, I wasn't close enough. You know what? Let's just save time. I wasn't close enough to the first structure to hide behind. So I'll probably make maybe 2 more attempts depending on how badly they go. That's 3 deaths so far. I didn't recollect my souls, so it doesn't matter. I didn't recollect them from the first death, so the fact that I didn't recollect them on this death, it didn't matter at all. On the death that just happened. There's ways to like dodge stuff by using iframes on the dismount of the horse. I hate that attack. Yeah, this is why I don't try to use the horse. The horse doesn't have enough maneuverability, so you'd just be doing hit and run tactics, which is not fun. I mean, you have to lock on, because if you don't lock on, you can't actually track him. Because he spins so much for someone riding a horse. This is impossible to track him with without super increasing the sensitivity of the camera. You can play without being able to see him to a certain extent, but I wonder if it's worth riding the horse this far to save time getting to the teleport. I think that's ammo for the Radon specific bow? Like, I hate that attack because it can hit you, it can miss. It's not even like consistent if it hits or misses though. Complete luck. I can't see anything because I'm not locked on. Okay, quicker than I was expecting. Okay, didn't remember that attack. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm doing very poorly. But I think it should be fine. It should be doable. I just need to not play awfully. I don't do a lot of damage, though, is the big thing. What I might consider is being boring and going to find the katana, the Moonlight Intelligence Scaling Katana, so that I can two-hand weapons. And that would have bleed build up as well, and it would bleed more often. Might be useful to just do more damage. I will consider doing that. I probably should have this equipped and using them occasionally, but I'm not going to level up more, though. I think level-wise it's fine. I think I will just try fighting it. I will consider getting a different weapon to use, which I think it is in this area. I don't think that's the entrance, but that might be the exit. The entrance is in this general vicinity, so I think I'll go do that. I will think about going to do that before I fight him again, or I'll try a few more times and then go do that, because I think I would just do a lot more damage if I had two weapons to swing, because that's generally what it seems like, because the only advantage to two-handing versus one-handing, I believe, is better strength application, but my strength isn't that high, and having a second weapon that would also apply bleed means that I'd proc bleed more often on him, which would be useful. So I might do that, or I might find some other weapon to mess around with. I don't think I have any other weapons to mess around with. I could do this, but that would just be Dex, which is not at all the right build. Because these, just for reference, would have that, and so I think they would hit more often. So I could get better bleed buildup, but I don't want to fight him with just bleed. The reason that I would focus on bleed, though, is because he just has a lot of HP. And he doesn't take that much damage. But I'll decide that before next time, if I want to go get the whatever the name of the Moonlight Katana is, just to have a second weapon that I'll upgrade a bit, but I'll decide before next time. So have a nice day. Bye bye.